everyone was excited at our autopsy club this evening. It was open mic night. Welcome to Shave&Butcher. Ken Williams, a keen viewer, also wants to let you know that a hole has been discovered in the fence surrounding a nudist beach. The authorities are looking into it. Shave. Wade&Butcher, about 7/8. Wedge with barber's notch, everything original. Well, not the pin. The scales are, so we're doing that. Doesn't close properly. There you go. So I'm up here tonight with the flickering lights. I apologize. Soap is Saponificio Varesino Stella Alpina. I don't use this enough. This is a sort of it's not really an artisan soap, I think. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it is, but it's not a big brand, that's for sure. But it's semi-mass produced, perhaps. Super hard pack. I've used this 30 times, and there's probably another 100 shaves in it. So it's hard, but you can make a small dent in it. Well, let's not do that. You can. Righty. Brush, which we're warming up a bit. The brush has been soaking for a good while. And that's good because it's a Badger brush. It is made by Jeff Anderson. It's a GA7. It was my first real brush, really. And good way to start. Wet the face. And as usual, the face has been conditioned with a bit of face moisturizer. So this is hard. You can actually soak this for a while to soften the surface of the soap. But you don't have to. You can just put in the elbow grease and load it up properly. I'm gonna add a tiny bit. I keep finding myself adding a bit of water to, especially to harder soaps, where if you squeeze out the brush really well, it's a bit on the dry side. So, I mean, you can build your whole lather into the bowl if you want to. You can keep adding water and keep going until you get the consistency you want. I never really do that, and I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, but you could. But I'm just adding water to make sure I get enough of the soap into the brush. This is some awesome scent. I forget what the scent notes are, or maybe I've never known. Extract of Edelweiss and hazelnut oil. So it's actually Edelweiss. I don't know if that's a European flower. You certainly don't get it up here. Edelweiss can grow on really high altitude. In the Alps, at least, perhaps other mountainous regions as well. And of course, there's a song in the fantastic musical film Sound of Music, which is called Edelweiss. Edelweiss, Edelweiss. Very nice. So, but fantastic stuff. My only soap from Saponificio Varesino. Saponificio is soap makery in Italian. Varesino, I think, is, I don't know if it's a town or a family name, but it's cool, it's good. This particular one I see very rarely. There are others that are more common and sort of shave of the day photos. The 70-year anniversary thing. There is a good story around this soap maker, but I can't remember it. But it's Italian. Italian like Proraso, but more lights. Is maybe here where we lock the light thing in. AE lock. Let's see if that helps. So slightly higher end, a bit more expensive, I think. I bought this one with just the soap, not a jar. So put it in some old LL grooming or whatever, some soap I'd finished, and that works well. You don't have to get the jar or the, what do you call it in Americano? You know, the tin, the container. You don't have to. If you want to save a bit of money, if you want to make good use of old containers, then again, plastic can be recycled, and it is. Where I live, Sweden, you can recycle plastic and you turn it into, well, PET bottles are turned into fleece jackets, fleece clothes, and miscellaneous plastics are turned into stuff at IKEA. You know, if it's black, it's recycled. There's all kinds of shit in it, I'm sure. But you can do that. IKEA even has utensils in recycled plastic. That's a bit, I don't know. It's probably okay. But even if you recycle the plastic to burn for heating and electricity, which is what happens with quite a lot of the recycled plastic here, that's recycling as well, because that will be replacing coal or oil or something on some level. So plastic isn't all bad, you know. It's light, which makes it inexpensive to transport. You need plastic in quite a few areas. And okay, it's fossil based, except if it's bioplastic, which you can make as well. You make the polymers that make up plastics out of, well, you can make it out of anything that has coal in it, really. So you can make it out of wood fiber, for example, or grasses. It's a bit expensive, that's why it's not done very much, but you can make it out of anything organic, really. Okay, the Shave&Butcher. This is one of my cooler razors. It is a wedge, so it doesn't give a whole lot of feedback. And sometimes you feel, is it really cutting? And then at other times you feel, it's a bit tuggy. Maybe it's dull. But it isn't, because a wedge will give more, slightly more resistance. And it's a coarser sort of experience. But it certainly can give the same close, comfortable shave as a full hollow can. But I'd say wedges are for experienced shavers. I enjoy them much more now than I did 5 years ago. Because I am a much better shaver now than I was 5 years ago. Hell, I shave better now than I did 1 year ago. Even though I have thousands of shaves in me, I still learn. That's not a cliche, it's the damn truth. It's the God honest truth. And this is cool. This razor will be from, I don't know, 1870 or 50 even. I found it in not too good shape. And I polished and I polished and I polished and I polished, and then got fed up, so I used greaseless compound and I polished some more, and voila, shiny. Has a lot of pitting, so you can see it's been around, but it's shiny. So not shiny, happy whiskers holding hands, but shiny, shiny Sheffield steel. Holding it together. Yeah, still a super comfortable shape. To use an old razor, especially an old wedge, you have to get lucky. You know, if you find something in the wild or you buy off eBay, you don't quite know what you're getting, so it's hit and miss. So the price that you pay should reflect that. But if you're lucky, wow. I've made the mistake of buying razors that people have restored, so they look really nice and shiny. And they're a good brand. You know, it could be Shave&Butcher, and so you pay a bit extra because, you know, people like the shiny stuff. So, and sometimes, quite often, they're quite bad. Sometimes horrible to shave with, and oh, this smells so good. What does this smell of? I don't know, Edelweiss maybe? No one smelled Edelweiss because it's high up on our marker. That's a safe, safe branding. But yeah, I've made some bad purchases. And unless they're sort of broken, you can't really say anything. Well, you can, but you're not going to get your money back, because it still looks like it did in the photos, and you know, they don't promise it's going to shave perfectly or anything like that. But if you don't mind a bit of polishing action, which anyone can do really, it's not hard at all, then and you like vintage, then buying stuff which isn't in perfect shape makes a lot of sense. Because, you know, it's quite a bit of fun to, well, I wouldn't say it's fun to polish, because it's a bloody nightmare in terms of work. But the feeling of, what's the word? You know, the feeling of having accomplished something when you've made that rusty old thing shine is kind of nice. Or these scales were broken, I mended them. I put in, there's plastic I got from, I can't remember where, and epoxy and shit, and I mended. They were broken and there were holes in them and pieces missing. And you know, okay, they look like shit now, but they're worn, right? So I don't like new scales on old razors. It can look beautiful and it can be cool. I just think it's wrong. So I'd rather have sort of broken scales, but original ones, than something new, especially if it's modern, you know, like shiny colors and that on the Shave&Butcher. Oh, there's a lot of that around. Shave&Butcher with like neon light scales is a joke. A lot of you have them, so yeah, but I think so. I think it's a joke. If you make new scales, because you have to, on a razor that was made 150 years ago, you bloody well should try to make the scales look authentic, even if they're new. Buy some damn horn, you know, don't use plastic. Plastic wasn't invented in 1850. Make a bit of an effort. But mending stuff is fun. I'm not a very practical guy, so I'm not very good at it, but it's a cool feeling afterwards. I had to cut some stones yesterday because I was putting a short pathway into the garden. So you have, I don't know what they're called, not tiles because that's in the bathroom, but sort of they look like bricks. They're this size and you put load to them to make a pathway. So you have to cut them sometimes. I have a small angle grinder. I love it. The angle grinder is the coolest instrument. Because it's wicked and vile and you can use it for a lot of things. So, but mine isn't very big. It's not a fancy one either. It's a Black & Decker. It just won't die, so I'm not gonna buy a new one. But these brick looking things are pretty thick, some of them, so the disc that I have is kind of small, and then there's a protection thing around it for the debris that it creates, and probably just in case pieces come off, and you know, protection is sort of towards you, towards the body, so it's a bit of protection. But I thought, shit, I want a bigger disc, so I got a big disc, you know, a big disc that could cut through everything and so forth. But to mount it, you have to take the protection away. And I've seen that being done before, and I've used like a remodeled one where that took place. But I know shit about machines or geometry, so I just took stuff off so I could fit it, and then I fitted and everything. I thought maybe I should sort of try it just to see that it's okay. So I turned on the thing, and it turns like, I don't know, 8,000 rounds per minute or something, so it turns pretty fast. So that I do that at a bit of a distance, and that was a good idea because after, I don't know, 5 seconds, the bloody thing came off. So if you do that, if you're down there and the thing comes off in your face or on your foot or your hand or whatever, at 6,000-7,000 RPMs, that could slice you up pretty badly. Not sure where I was going with that. But yeah, mending, rebuilding, whatever. So I changed back and it was perfectly fine. You just have to cut both sides. But I wasn't thinking. And it's kind of cool to have a big disc. Just mow through the stones and I don't know. I like that kind of thing. And fire, I like fire. I putting things on fire. Oh, I haven't done that much lately. I miss it. Burning things is cool. Very good. I must have done 80 shaves with this since it was last honed. Such a good razor. Really is. Let's have a feel, see how that went. Yeah, went okay. It's not wick smooth, so we'll do a half pass, yeah? Oh, I'm doing a lather battle with Heather from Singari Man. So I've never done a lather battle. I've never even seen one, but we're doing one. And I think we agreed on Saturday, this coming Saturday, and 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that's 10 p.m. Central European time, if you're interested. You build a big lather, and I said, you know, okay, I'm famous for my big lathers. That should be fun, you know, do a bit of chit chat. With Heather, the Beyonce of shave soap. Brilliant. Excuse me. Oh yeah, we're having a bit of a scare at home because that was nothing. That was just something getting stuck in my throat. My son went back to school. Came home with, what was this, 3 days ago, with a big cough and throat hurts and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a scare. And no wonder, because school, seriously, whew. I'm not saying close the schools, but don't tell me it's corona proof, because, you know, he's poorly, he needs to study, so he sent me to school, to his locker, to pick up all of his books, basically. Holy shit, this narrow corridor with lockers on both sides and, I don't know, 1.5 meters in between, and just a wall of teenagers. So I had to muscle my way through. So, excuse me, I probably touched 30 people just get into his locker. So if anyone there had the virus, everybody's got the virus. Now my son probably just has a cold, because that's very common in the autumn when school commences. But these days you never freaking know, right? So scary. Again, I'm not saying don't open schools. What I am saying is, you know, he's got over 1,000 students at his high school. There's no way to corona proof that. No way. I'll rinse down here. Talk amongst yourself, will you? Yeah, that did the trick. That was pretty awesome. Now we're gonna rinse with cold water. fantastic. Not as close as a wick shave, because there is no such thing as close as a wick shave. But I have a selection of aftershave stuff. What do I? Lucido from the Mandem Corporation in Japan. Just a medicinal, pretty perfect aftershave. I don't know what's in it, because it's all in damn Japanese. If there's alcohol, there's not a whole lot, but I think there is a bit. Not a fancy aftershave by any standard. You buy it in the local pharmacy, local supermarket, whatever. I'm gonna treat myself to some Singari Man balm. Arguably the best aftershave balm in the world. I'm not one to judge. I really like it, but some people who spend their life chasing the perfect aftershave balm, okay, that's an exaggeration, but who need the stuff and who take it very seriously, like Stefan Gidlund, my soap buddy, he says, quite possibly the best in the world. And he's tried, I think, everything. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna smell nice tonight as well, so I'm going with the best scent that I've ever tried out of everything, Creed Himalaya. This thing, I've used this for, well, now I mix things up, but for a while it was every day, since 6-7 years. The damn thing is still intoxicating to me. Wow. But what do I know, right? Okay, Lather battle. I guess it's on the Singari Man Instagram page, channel, whatever it's called. I'm not very much on Instagram. I'm 100 years old. Saturday, this coming Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern US time, 10 p.m. Central European time. Me and Heather. I think I'm gonna win. She's very confident she'll win. So let's surprise her, shall we? Please watch, and we may see each other before that. That's it, really. Thanks for watching. Hope the lights were not too bad. See you soon, and meanwhile, stay sharp.